Hello and welcome. Today we will be going through the GemOne Sapphire Portal. Things to be covered will be driver access, checklists, impacts, utilization, and subscriptions. Driver access. After operators turn on the equipment, their first interaction with the hardware is logging into the device. It will only allow them to access the equipment if their credentials are valid. Credentials will be made on the GemOne Sapphire Portal. When it comes to creating credentials, GemOne utilizes two separate login methods. First, by default, will be a PIN ID number. Secondly, is the RFID option. RFID can be facility badges, key fobs, or stickers. GemOne RFID readers support a 26-bit encryption, so if you are unsure whether or not your facility's badge will function with our readers, please reach out to the GemOne technical support team to learn about the RFID testing process. When creating a PIN login, as you can see here, there are three required fields. ID type will be PIN, product will be the Sapphire option, and ID number will be whatever PIN you wish to choose for the operator to log in with. When creating a RFID login option, choose card for the ID type. For product, choose Gem RFID. When it comes to the protocol type, choose the 26-bit option. It is important to leave the invert parity box unchecked. Checking the box can lead to failure of an operator logging in. The last two required fields are your facility code or batch ID and the ID number of the card. If you are unsure about your facility or batch code, your internal IT team might be able to assist, or you can test your badge credentials with the GemOne technical support team. To create a new operator, simply navigate to the Operators button on the dashboard. From there, you'll be presented with your current list of existing operators. To add a new one, click on the Create a New Entry option. As you can see, I do have some required fields asterisked in red. If I wish to provide my phone number for an operator, I can do so here. We do want to make sure we keep the Is Active box checked. When it comes to shift time, this will not enable or disable an operator from operating a piece of equipment if they come in outside of their shift time. When it comes to the ID type, we do have RFID options, which will be under the card, or the PIN number. When it comes to the PIN, the ID number will actually be the number they input on the Sapphire device to log in. Training and licensing are additional fields you can provide for your operator. Training will be more so an internal cert, where licensing will actually enable or disable an operator based on their categorized license and their expiry date. So if my operator's sit-down category license expires, they will no longer be able to operate a sit-down piece of equipment. If you wish to select individual pieces of equipment for your operator to have access to, you can do so here at the Equipment Access Matrix. By default, every piece of equipment will be checkmarked here at this screen. Files. You can actually add files to your operator's profile. For example, if you have a digital copy of their licensing, you can add that here. Once I have all my fields updated and checkmarked, I can go ahead and click the Create button. As you can see, the screen bar means that my operator has been successfully created. To deactivate an operator, I would simply find them in my operator list. click on their profile. Once I have their profile pulled up, I'd simply uncheck the Is Active box and remove all access from the equipment access matrix. To double check, I can see that my operator has been deactivated, and if I click on the accessible equipment, they will no longer have any pieces of equipment under their profile. Another option you can grant an operator's profile is the override access. This will typically be the shift leads or managers or someone with authority to either lock or unlock a lift. I can do so by navigating to the Site Settings button and clicking on the Remote Configuration option. From this page, I would scroll down to the bottom and select the pieces of equipment I wish to apply the override code to. Once done, I scroll back up to the top where I see the bulk override code field and select the Manage Codes button. On this page, I can see my current list of override access users, and I can grant override access to more than one operator's profile at a time. To remove override access, simply click on the red X next to the operator profile's name. Once I have the operator's profile, I can go ahead and click the Apply Override Codes button. As you can see, the green bars here mean there's been a successful sync of the new operator code. Checklists. GemOne offers the ability to store your equipment's checklist digitally on the cloud. Once the operator has logged into the Sapphire device, a checklist will appear automatically on the display if one is due. Checklist consists of a yes or no answer and are customizable to each type of equipment. Questions are always randomized each time an operator starts a checklist. So with the yes-no answers combined in a randomized order, it will be impossible for an operator to memorize the sequence. Checklists are broken into two categories and two statuses. As you can see here, the categories are pre-start and post-start. Pre-start will be more of the visual inspection questions, whereas post-start will be the functional type questions. When an operator completes the pre-start questions on the Sapphire device, they will get a notification where they can turn on the lift and use its function to complete the post-start questions. Checklist statuses are non-critical or critical. If an operator answers a critical question incorrectly, a notification will appear, allowing the operator a second chance to either submit or change their answer. If the operator clicks Submit, the critically failed question will lock out the lift. Please keep in mind the operator still needs to finish the rest of the checklist just in case there are other issues that need to be addressed. To navigate to your safety checklist settings, go over to the Site Settings button, click on it, and choose Safety Check Management. From here, I can manage my safety groups, schedule settings, and check the actual safety check settings. As you can see, I have multiple checklists here on the portal. To edit the equipment for one, I would simply click on the Edit Equipment option. To select, add, or delete questions, I click on the Edit Questions button. Then to configure the questions, making them pre-start, post-start, critical or non-critical, click on Configure Questions. To create a new checklist, simply click on the Create a New Entry option. Please keep in mind that when creating a checklist, there needs to be both a pre-start and post-start question for the checklist to function correctly. Once you make any changes to your checklist, you need to click on the Sync Questions button. To view your equipment's prompt time settings, simply navigate to the View Current Safety Check Settings. Here you can see each piece of equipment, checklist group, and their prompt schedule. To change these settings, you can either click on Modify or go to the Schedule Settings option. To view your checklist accrued data, scroll down the bottom of the main page of the dashboard. Here you'll find the Equipment Checklist Summary widget, where you can see failed, critical failed, passed, and incomplete. An incomplete checklist will occur whenever a lift is powered off and an operator is completing that checklist. To view the results for the day, click on the hyperlink here in the blue bar. This will show you a more detailed look at your checklist. As you can see, we have the equipment type, day and time, operator completing the checklist, status, failures, which elaborates on the actual questions, duration it took for each checklist, a detailed view, and the option to add any comments that you wish. This is also exportable by clicking the Copy, Excel, CSV, PDF, or Print option. You also have different filtering capabilities at the top side of the screen, where you can change the status, specific date range, and filter the equipment options. Impacts. Once the checklist is completed, operators can now drive the equipment. The junction box you see on the left-hand side of the screen under the Sapphire device actually has the impact sensor and is installed onto the frame of the equipment. It measures the deceleration curvature, and the value that you see on the portal is the output from multiple inputs. These inputs can include site conditions, type of equipment, tires on the equipment, and the driving style of the operator. All these different inputs affect the final output, which is the G-force rating you see on the portal. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see our impact summary widget, red being the indicator of the highest value. Under that, you can see the impact count, average severity, and highest impact of your entire fleet for the day. To find the impact summary widget, navigate to the Equipment Statistics option on the main page of the dashboard. Once here, scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll find the impact summary widget. Inside the blue bar, you can click on the hyperlink that will show you the results for the day. If you wish to extend that date range, you can do so here, as well as filter out your equipment options and certain G-force ratings. As you can see, we have a scatter graph that shows us all the different impacts for the day. Under the scatter graph, we have operators that have operated a piece of equipment and accrued those certain impacts. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see each operator's maximum and average severity. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see their number of impacts. Just under that, you can see it more in a detailed view with the date and time, equipment, equipment category, G-force rating, positioning, operator, details, and you do have the option to add a comment if you wish. Once again, all this data is exportable or printable. Based on your impact data, you can actually change when your lift locks out according to the G-force value. To do so, navigate to the Site Settings button and select the Remote Configuration option. Here you can see we have our impact lockout threshold value and the auxiliary alarm threshold value. Lockout threshold will actually lock out the lift, where an override user will be needed to actually unlock the lift. The auxiliary alarm threshold is more so of a warning. If you are unsure about your impact lockout threshold, feel free to reach out to your GemOne technical support team, and they will help you through this step. In order to set my threshold, I would need to navigate to the bottom of the screen and select my pieces of equipment. Once done, I'll scroll back to the top and change the slider here for those desired pieces of equipment. Once I have my value set, all I would do is click the Update option. As you can see, the green box means that the impact lockout threshold has been set. Remember, when interpreting your impact data, it's not necessarily the G-force value, but what are the exceptions to the norm based on the data coming in. If you feel like you are seeing some abnormalities in reference to your data, feel free to reach out to your GemOne technical support team. Utilization. Similar to impacts, utilization data is also constantly being recorded as the device is active. When an operator logs into the device, they start a session. The session remains active as long as the operator keeps the key on. The session will end once an operator turns the key off. Therefore, logging the operator out, the equipment will become inoperable, and then it will be ready for the next operator to log in after turning the key back on. When it comes to utilization reporting, there will be two main areas that we're going to cover. First one being the equipment shift utilization. This is a consolidated view of the whole fleet for the specified date range. In order to find that report, all you do is simply scroll down on the main page of the dashboard to find the equipment shift utilization widget. If you want a more detailed look, go ahead and click on the hyperlink in the blue bar. From here, this shows us our utilization of our equipment with the GemOne Sapphire devices equipped based on the time of day. Under that, you can see a few more statistics. Statistics can include key time, seat time, operation time, engine time, hydraulic time, as well as motion, forward, and reverse. These are all based on the inputs configured at the time of installation of your equipment with the GemOne device. The other utilization report we will be covering is going to be the session data report. This will give you a more granular level of session data captured by the device. To get there, simply go to the Reports button at the top of the screen. Once there, click on the Session option. Here we have some filtering options that include the date range, equipment, and operator. All results are exportable. As you can see, we have our fleet number, operator, start and end times, and select inputs. These input timers are dependent on whether or not the equipment has the capability to be measured at the time of the GemOne Sapphire installation. Our last item we'll be covering is subscriptions. A portal admin can receive notifications that are sent within a minute after the portal receives the data for the Sapphire device. This applies to impacts and checklists. A portal admin can also opt into select emailed reports. To opt into email notifications and email reporting, go to the top right hand side of the screen where your name is visible, select the drop down, and click on My Account. From there, click on the Manage My Subscriptions button. On the top side of the screen, we can see our notifications. You can get notified for impacts above a certain threshold, CC someone on those, and opt into the incomplete checklist email alert and the equipment checklist failure notification alert. We do also supply the hour meters report, where you can choose your asset or fleet level reporting, as well as the frequency for that report. Other reports are going to be Operator License Expiry Report and the Training Expiry Report. If you choose to, you can also have an impact report based on a certain threshold, date, and frequency. Lastly, there are a few widgets I want to go over on the main page of the dashboard, those being the expiring operator license and training schedule, as well as the exceptions. Expiring operator license widget will show you the already expired license, expiring in 14 days and in 30 days. If I wish to have those details, simply click on the hyperlink. Training schedulers, same thing. Our exceptions widget shows offline equipment, inactive operators, and concurrent sessions. Concurrent sessions will be when an operator is logged into 2 or more pieces of equipment at the same time. To conclude our portal training, I want to personally thank you for your time today. Please feel free to reach out to your GemOne technical support team for any questions that you may have. The support team can also provide you an in-depth step-by-step guide for portal functions that may not have been covered in our session today. They can also provide you with the GemOne Sapphire hardware guide.